All right, let's talk about something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and that's the real beauty of asking so-called dumb questions.
And look, this isn't some abstract theory. It's really just a reflection from my own experience, stuff I've seen happen over and over, both for myself and with the leaders I've had the chance to work with.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're in a meeting, or maybe way back in a classroom, and you have this question, but you hesitate. You stop yourself. Because somewhere along the line, we all learned that it's just safer to stay quiet. We start thinking that silence makes us look smart, and asking a question just shows everyone what we don't know. And boom, just like that, we trade in our curiosity for a little bit of caution.
But here's the thing, the real tragedy isn't just that we're being quiet. It's that we're putting out this little spark, a spark that could actually lead us to something true. What I've come to realize is that the real power, it's not in pretending you have all the answers. It's in having the courage to just ask.
And why is that so powerful? Well, here's what I've noticed. Until you actually ask the question, your own brain doesn't fully kick into gear. I mean, just the act of putting a question into words, even if it sounds totally silly or random, that's the thing that gets the ball rolling. That's what starts the whole journey to finding an answer. Think about it like this. A question kind of evolves. The very first one you ask, it's almost never the most important one. It's just the starting line. It's the questions that come after that, the follow-ups, that really start to dig into what's important. And then, eventually, one of them just clicks, and you land on the real question, the one that actually needed to be asked. You know, this is exactly why I've always loved the whole 5 whys idea. But for me, it's not really a rigid problem-solving tool. It's more of a mindset, right? It's about making a commitment to yourself that you're not going to stop at the first easy answer. You're going to keep peeling back the layers one by one. Because let's be honest, the real truth is almost never just sitting there on the surface. And that process, it totally reminds me of how a little kid thinks. They have this pure, unfiltered curiosity. A kid has zero fear of asking why, and then why again and again. There's this incredible freedom in that, isn't there? It's something so human that, for some reason, we tend to let go of as we get older. Yeah, we trade that freedom for this pressure to always look like we're prepared, like we've got it all figured out. You see it all the time in meetings, right? A room full of people, all nodding along, but you can feel the confusion. Everyone's just waiting for someone else to ask the obvious question. And if you're a leader, it's even harder. We get scared that asking questions will make us look like we don't know what we're doing. I mean, the difference is just night and day. On one side, you've got these silent rooms just filled with unspoken assumptions and, frankly, a lot of fear. But on the other side, you see what happens when someone, especially a leader, is brave enough to ask a raw, honest question. It completely changes the energy, it opens up the space for everyone to actually think, and it invites a real conversation to finally begin. See, a genuine question just interrupts the script we're all reading from. It totally cuts through all the corporate jargon and the posturing. When you ask something that's actually sincere, you're giving everyone else permission to be more real too. And that moment, that's when the actual conversation starts. It's such a simple truth, but one we forget all the time. Think about it. Every single major breakthrough, every big shift in history, it all started with a question. A question that at the time probably sounded completely ridiculous. Progress isn't built on the confidence of always being right. It's built on the curiosity to question the things we're so sure we already know. Because really, at the end of the day, it's not even about the specific question you're asking. It's about the intent behind it. It's about being humble enough to admit you don't know something, brave enough to risk looking a little naive, and just genuinely curious enough to actually want to learn. So what does all this boil down to? What's the big takeaway here? It's super simple, really. It's an invitation. Just ask. Ask freely without worrying so much. Ask when it feels awkward. Definitely ask when it feels awkward. Ask honestly. Ask even when you think it's unnecessary, because the real value is in the simple act of asking. Because every single question, no matter how small or how dumb you think it sounds, carries that little spark with it. And if you just let it, that tiny spark might be exactly what you need to light up the path forward. So leave you with this one final thing to think about. What's that one question you've been holding on to? The one you've been a little bit afraid to ask? My name is Manu Sharma, and this has been a reflection I wrote and wanted to share with you. If you want to read the full article and dive a little deeper, you can find it over at manusharma.ca. Just so you know, this whole explainer was actually generated by Google LM based on that article I wrote. I really hope it's given you something interesting to chew on. Thanks so much for tuning in.